They're targeting people who champion traditional values and who are influential enough to affect whatever big agenda they have going on at the time. I say that because way back when Kevin Samuels passed away unexpectedly, he was gaining so much influence amongst men because he was making a lot of sense. But that is not why they took him out of the game. They took him out of the game because women were valuing his opinion too. So many women called into that man's show and value his opinion. And a lot of times when he wasn't, being funny or making fun of people's appearance and stuff, having a go at the caller, he was making a whole lot of sense. And he was delivering it in such a way that eventually it would affect the overall agenda to divide men and women, to have women on this whole I deserve, I deserve, I deserve. He was telling it like it is, and people were listening. And he was doing it with a rating scale, and he was getting paid for it. He had to go. He had to go. Sorry, I live in the hood. Charlie Kirk, I don't like him for a lot of reasons because people like him at the top, especially conservatives like him, when they speak on certain issues, especially pertaining to black people in America, they do so without going into the nuance as to why certain things are the way. And sometimes it doesn't matter as to why. Obviously, I speak on the community a lot too, and I'm very critical of it, but I am of the community. So people like Charlie Kirk, when they speak on it, sometimes they came he came off very ignorant and racist. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've seen a shit ton of Charlie Kirk videos. However, there's nothing that Charlie Kirk has ever done in his life that would merit him being assassinated in front of his family, in front of the world, like he was. And if you saw that video, it is gruesome. It is horrible. And I've seen a lot of death because of the internet to the point where I'm almost desensitized. And that was a lot. That was a lot for a political commentator, a person who may be critical of the LGBT community. Sound familiar? May be critical of ghetto culture. Sound familiar? May be an advocate for the Second Amendment. Sound familiar? Right? Now, obviously, I'm a person that's of very small influence of anybody. I can barely influence the people I work with, let alone anybody that's watching me. But if you're out here and you do start to grow an audience to where people are listening to what you're saying and you may be critical of certain things, just this week alone, I've been critical of hood culture, very critical of hood culture, and critical of certain things coming out of the LGBTQ community. These go completely against the social agenda where there are certain people on those sides that are hyper deranged. You have people that are um, what do you call it? They don't want the government to come in and stop criminality. They don't want the killing to stop. They don't want the hood culture to stop. You have um, this LGBTQ culture of people, which Charlie Kirk critiqued a lot, who is pushing a certain agenda onto children and onto young adults that they can probably discover on their own. That people are very critical on. Certain things don't belong in books, children's books, and certain things don't belong in schools. You can write whatever the fuck you want to write, but people like Charlie Kirk question it, right? And because of what he questioned and what he talked about, he was assassinated. His last two words were gang violence because he was critiquing gang violence. The guy was talking about when was the last time there was a trans mass, how many transgender mass shooters have there been? And he was like, too many. There was a clap, and then the dude came back with another question. And when he got up, it was too perfect. The shot was too clean. It was too clean. It was too clean. I shoot. They said that the shooter was at least over 100 yards out, and that was a clean shot. And of course, he could have been going. He could have been going for the head, but that was a clean shot for him to bend down to say what he said, and for him to get hit. That was pro. That was pro. It was pro. And I'm just saying that as a shooter, that was a crazy ass shot in front of all those people to send a message to those of us who have opinions that go against the grain. There's a lot of deranged people out here that think that just because I may not agree with certain lifestyle choices that you make and maybe pushing onto people that I don't think that you're a human being worthy of breath and rights and all that. Like I say, I can be as critical as I want to be about the LGBTQ community, but I believe they deserve every right and liberty that I have. They should be able to get married to who they want to get married to. They should be able to love who they want to love, to start families and all that. But when you're trying to push your lifestyle onto other people's children, people are going to critique that. That's all I'm saying. That's all Charlie Kirk was saying. When you're trying to say that, when you're trying to tell children that they can just change their gender without you telling them also the repercussions of doing so, people are going to critique that. You understand that? That they can lose sexual function, that people will ostracize them regardless of however well they transition. They're going to be men like myself who are going to probably not want to be with you because you were born a man. You understand? And that goes into a whole nother thing that we're not going to get into in this video, but having opinions is dangerous in this day and age. To critique the culture of, okay, sell your body for this and women can just be however the fuck they want to be, just be nasty creatures who are demanding of the patriarchy, but at the same time critiquing it. You want us to open the doors, you want us to pay the bills, you don't want to go 50-50. That is all the patriarchy, honey. I don't know if y'all know that. But at the same time, y'all want us to do all that and shut the fuck up. That is not going to happen. But at the same time, when you critique that, what happens? Your videos get demonetized. You get put into a certain category. You're constantly on restriction. I'm talking about myself. You're constantly going through certain things as a creator because the system don't want you to speak your mind. I had to literally think about how controversial I'm not like controversial. I don't say anything that's super radical. What do I speak on? Just what's going on in the time that I live in, right? I may use coarse language. That's the biggest thing that I will critique about myself as far as like the my political and social opinions that I put out here, right? But as far as what I'm saying, I'm not saying nothing that's not common sense most of the fucking time, right? I don't believe that roaming gangs should be terrorizing neighborhoods to where people should be afraid to come out their house or take their kids to school or worried about their kids going outside and getting fucking harassed by hooligans who don't give a fuck about living or dying. I don't think that's a radical take to say that those people should be brought to heel. I don't think it's a radical take to say that there shouldn't be sex books about sex targeted at freaking elementary school kids in the library, and that it's inappropriate, and I question why people would even want to push that type of material on children to begin with. I think that's common sense for me. But there are people out here that take that as a slight against their whole humanity, and they will come for my head as a content creator, as we saw today. We saw it. And we saw so many people getting online and celebrating the fact that that man was killed in front of his family. That gruesome, gruesome death. That was gruesome. Like I say, I've seen some shit this year. That was crazy. And his kids, more than likely, bear witness to that. Saw their daddy get locked up like that, get pilled up, get packed out. Crazy. Not right. But you had people like Amanda Seales saying, oh, I don't have no empathy for him because blah, blah, blah. But Amanda Seales don't understand how the pendulum, because she doesn't have foresight like so many black people that will say that that racism don't go both ways, right? Those type of people, right? She don't have foresight to understand that she's a public figure, that she's a liberal public figure, and that type of event will radicalize people on the diametrically different side of the political spectrum than she is, and that she could potentially be targeted by some fucking lunatic because she has an opinion that somebody doesn't like. I have opinions that people don't like. That doesn't mean that somebody should just kill me because of my opinion. That's crazy. Let's talk it out. I'd rather you come and just do. The crazy thing about Charlie Kirk is that you can literally go up there and talk to that nigga and have a debate with him if you really don't like his opinion. His opinion is his opinion. What the fuck? Right? Whether it's a racist opinion, a misogynist opinion, whatever the fucking opinion it may be, it is what it is. There's a lot of women that are misandrous that get online every day and say how much they hate men and how much they want to use men and abuse men and treat men like ass and all this other shit, right? That's fine. Great. They have a right to feel like that. I don't think they should be killed because of their horrific social opinions. Just like I don't feel like, oh, just because, oh, I may feel something that you may say may be racially insensitive, maybe sexually insensitive. I don't think that you should just die off of it. You understand what I'm saying? Not like that. That's crazy. Or at all, for an opinion is insane. When a lot of us in this day and age in 2025 get on this internet and let our opinion loose, either here in video form, through lives, or in the comment section, we let our opinions out. Good, bad, or indifferent. And that don't mean that you should just die because you don't like. I don't. That don't mean that you should die because I don't like what you're saying in my comments, or because you made a video, or because you made a response to something I may have said. That's crazy. Or because I'm saying something I don't think, that don't mean that I should die, right? Because you don't agree. Oh, that I've and just in some of the things that I spoke in this video, that you don't agree with everything I'm saying. That's fine. That's great. Fantastic. Don't mean that a person should be killed because of it. I don't like people like Charlie Kirk, and I'm gonna say that again. Ben Shapiro. Um, what's the other one? The oh my God, what is his name? He has a Hispanic last name. He's always talking. I kind of like him a little bit, but he's super racist too. None of these niggas, I don't think that they should just be dying, right? Because they haven't done anything. What have they done? They're not political people. They don't drive policy, right? If you feel like the system is racist, that's the system. You understand? These people, even the talking heads on TV and on the internet, they may be on your algorithm and in your FYP. I'm saying they may or may not be. I'm just saying if you see these people, I'm saying whoever it may be. And you may not like their opinions, but that don't mean that they should be taken out of the goddamn game. Right? We can have a conversation, can't we, please? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, like I'm gonna try to be careful out here because at this point, like I live in a very public place. I live in pretty or very fucking public. I'm in a very public area. It's very easy to find a person like me who gets online and is very loose with his words when it comes to talking about society. And there are some very unhinged individuals that are willing to just not only take me out of the game, or throw their own life away because of an opinion. An opinion that may change over time. My political opinions, some of my social opinions have changed dramatically as I've gotten older, which they usually freaking do for a lot of people. They just do. They change. You grow, they change. Some people don't. Some people they get more radical. But I know that there's a lot of people in this country that should have used their platforms today to condemn death, political assassinations are like and I've told y'all this as far as the machine. It's like taking a cog out of a machine that's going to be replaced, right? And it does nothing. And no matter how big the political figure is, it doesn't affect the machine, right? It doesn't. You think taking him out the game is going to affect his opinions? No, they're gonna make him stronger. You made him into a martyr. You made him into you martyred him, right? You made him greater than his station here on earth. So anything that he spoke on, there will be young people who are already influenced by his words that will now take it as the gospel because his death has cemented it, because his views couldn't be challenged. And even though he had open forum where you could literally go up there, grab the mic, and talk to this dude, y'all had to literally shoot this dude in the neck, and that is crazy work. Y'all need to stop doing these meet and greets, these open air things. It's too many people, be it YouTubers, be it uh, commentators, be it musicians who are getting killed because people are fucking unhinged. And with that being said, y'all have a great Thursday. And I'll catch y'all next time. Ooh, hit the camera. Bye bye.